Hello and welcome to Partly Crafting. As you may be able to tell, it's now time for my Christmas doll for 2024. Last year, I made the Daughter of the Grinch video, which I will link in the description below. This year, I wanted to try a Christmas elf, one of Santa's helpers up at the North Pole. To begin, we need a base, so I chose Darling Charming from Ever After High. I chose this one specifically because I wanted her to have an Ever After High body like my last Christmas doll, so they match. Here you can see me removing the hair with scissors and a seam ripper, and I've also off camera sculpted some small elf ears out of jewellery wire and epoxy sculpt. The main idea behind this doll was actually based around some yarn that I found in Home Bargains. It was this really cool tinsel white, green and red yarn, and I knew that I wanted to do something special with it. So I decided to do a full, super long reroute of this doll with that yarn. I want her to have a high ponytail and a fringe, so I'm starting by going around the hairline and the fringe line. For those of you wondering, I make my reroute tools at home with the handle of a craft knife and an embroidery needle from which I have cut the eye off at an angle. Okay, so I just want to show you guys how I've been doing the reroute, because it's a bit different to a usual reroute. So with yarn, because it's so thick and you're not brushing it out or anything, I'm just using these single strands of yarn. It's like knitted with this tinsel inside. Instead of folding it over in half like you usually would, that would be too bulky, that's too much hair. So to just get the one strand, what I do is I fold it over literally just like that. Okay, is we just find the next available spot and we stab it in, and then basically what that does is it does mean that you've got a, I don't knit this time to show you, but sometimes if you make the end of it too long around your finger, you might need to, stab it back in a couple times just to make sure that there's no untidy edges, and then that is rooted into the head permanently. I mean, you can tug on it pretty well because the vinyl will shrink around it. But I will always put glue in the inside of the head when I'm done to secure the hair. Now we can work on the face up. As always, I start the face up by spraying the face with 2 layers of Mr. Super Clear UV Cut Flat. As you can see, I have then added in the whites of the eyes with acrylic paint, and will now add blush to the face with chalk pastels. I went really heavy on the blush and added lots of freckles because I wanted her to look really cute and youthful, because elves are usually portrayed as kind of childlike. As well as this, I wanted to give her anime style big eyes with no pupils, because I thought that cartoony style would work really well with my other Christmas doll, who also has the same type of cartoony eyes. So to get this effect just right, I mostly just used acrylic paints with very few Arteza watercolor pencils, and this effect works really well at getting that classic anime cartoony style. One of my pet peeves with doll face-ups is eyebrows that don't match the hair color, so of course I had to give her metallic red and green eyebrows. I know this is a bit over the top, but I thought it was really funny and it's Christmas. Now I can remove the hair wrap that I used to protect the hair from the Mr. Super Clear sealant. If you guys know any good glues for sealing in doll hair, I would really appreciate that, because I've been using PVA and it always rusts my pins. Other than putting the hair up into a ponytail and leaving out some parts at the side of the fringe, all I needed to do was cut the fringe a bit shorter, and her hairstyle was pretty much done, other than using hair gel to slick back all of the flyaway tinsel bits. After cutting out a 3-minute segment on me rambling about the hair, we can get onto the clothes. I wanted her to have a fashion office look, so we're going for a black pencil skirt with a gold waistcoat. In this clip, I'm trying to decide whether to go for a black skirt and a gold waistcoat, or a gold skirt and a black waistcoat. I ended up going with a black skirt and a gold waistcoat. So here you can see I've put fabric glue around the edge of all the pieces because they're too small to hem, and I'm just showing you where I'm going to stitch. For this pattern piece for the waistcoat, or vest as they call it, there is a double dart here to just help it fit around the chest area on the doll. So what I've done is I've cut out the double dart on the paper pattern, laid it on top, and then I've taken a heat erasable pen and have just drawn on the double darts there, and then I will stitch that up, and then the ink will come off when I iron it. And these heat erasable pens are really cheap. They're just like the regular rub out pens that you can get from this is from Home Bargains. So yeah, and then just with a bit of heat that'll vanish and it'll be all good. And then I'm going to try and get some buttons down here. I really like this part of the costume. It's her shoes. I decided to give her classic glossy black Louboutins with the red bottoms. I know that some people think it's tacky. I think it's fun and I really like it. You can see how I made these on my TikTok page, which I will have linked in the description below. But yeah, in short, I basically 3D printed these. I then painted them in black and red, and then I used Liquitex satin finish varnish on the top of the shoes and gloss varnish on the bottom of the shoes. Some point during this project, it all went wrong. So, let me just go through this with you. First, the Ever After High dolls are renowned for having broken neck pegs. This one did, which was wonderful. I tried to fix it here, as you can see, with wire and epoxy. That didn't work. So then I tried it again with hot glue and wire and epoxy. That didn't work either. Epoxy's been acting up for me lately. I think it's because of the weather. So I decided to take drastic action. I had a Ever After High doll that was all stained, and I was like, I'm never going to use it. So I decided to give this whole doll, I don't know why I came up with this, a neck transplant. So I cut off the neck of this doll and the other one, very morbid, and then kind of fastened it back together with clay and hot glue, which worked, but then I broke it trying to get the head back on, so I had to refix it with more clay and super glue, which did finally work. So her neck looks a bit kind of busted in the photos and really, really long. I don't know how it got so long. I thought it was regular, but it seems to have added a bit more material with all the clay. So it looks a bit weird, but she's got big hair, so you can kind of look past it, I hope. I love this part of the doll. I think it's a really fun little campy accessory. So my original idea for this doll was for her to be kind of in charge of the naughty and nice list. Santa has to delegate his work a little bit. So to convey this on the doll, I made her a little clipboard out of cardboard from a Monster High packaging and a Warbler scrap that I made into the kind of hook bit that holds the paper down. But obviously, if she's living in the universe of my dolls, she can't just have a plain clipboard. So I started by painting it with white acrylic paint, and then I painted candy cane stripes on it with metallic red acrylic paint, and I really liked the way it turned out. Now I have to give credit to my sister for coming up with this name. I wanted something just a regular lady's name, but then also somehow Christmassy, and I couldn't think of something. I was like, Holly sounds a bit too peppy and young. So my sister came in and I told her the problem, and she just went Carol, and I was like, that is the funniest name in the world, because it's Carol, it's just a regular name, Carol, she lives down the road, but it's a Christmas carol, and I love that. So I traced out the name on the back of the clipboard in heat erasable pen, and then went over it with black acrylic paint, and then just used some heat to remove the trace lines that I made with the pen. Just to add some authenticity to the character, I wanted to actually put the naughty and nice list on her clipboard, so that's what I did. I cut out the paper to what an A4 piece of paper would be in scale to an Ever After High doll, and then started writing out the naughty and nice list in red and green Arteza watercolor pencils, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then I ended up stacking this piece of paper on a bunch of other small A4 sized pieces of papers, and kind of curling the edges and stuff, so it looks like she's got a massive list of names that she's just been rifling through for days on end. So here I am just adding some finishing details to the hair. I'm using this hair gel that you can actually just buy in the shops for people, but it works really well for dolls. And I'm just dousing the hair in it and then using a blow dryer to lock it in place. And then I didn't have any at the time, but I did end up buying some Got To Be Glued and using that after this video was filmed as well. Also, just to add more links to my past Christmas doll from last year, I wanted to give her a hairband around her ponytail out of the fabric that her clothes is made of. I did this on my Grinch doll and I really liked it, so I used the same method of just hot gluing the piece of fabric around her ponytail because I don't want it going anywhere. After that, I could put on the outfit, reunite the head with the body, and give her all her accessories, and the doll was finished. Now that she's all done, I can't wait for you guys to see her. Before you do, I'd really appreciate it if you liked this video and commented down below what you'd like to see for the next Christmas doll. After that, I think we can get on with the final reveal. Thank you so much for watching to the end, I really appreciate it. I'm really happy with how she turned out and I think she looks really good next to my other Christmas doll. I will say that the neck issue does upset me quite a bit, but unfortunately this video was on a time crunch, so there wasn't much I could do about it. As this video is being posted, I'm on my way to visit family for the holidays. But I'm really happy with how she turned out and I hope you are too. I hope you will have a great holiday season however you celebrate, and I'm excited to see you all in the next video in the new year.